Hey there, thanks for tuning in again. In today's show, R34 GT-Rs are now legal in the United States, and they cost more than a brand new R35 GT-R. What a time I live in. Also, is this the end of the R35 GT-R? My sources say yes. And when it rains, it pours. The famous Texas 2K race happened last week, and it rained at the track, and at night, 200 cops and 4 police helicopters poured into the community to capture illegal street racers. Whoops, not good, not good, oh my God. All of this after this message from my sponsor. Did you know that the average driver gets 9 traffic tickets in their lifetime? Look, I'll be the first to admit that I've taken maybe a couple of liberties with traffic laws back in the day. And of course, when I got caught, I had to go to court to fight the ticket, which was always a hassle. And each time that I lost my case, it meant big fines, points on my record, and higher insurance premiums. Eventually, I realized that nothing beats having a good attorney argue your case in court. So here's what you do. You download the Off the Record app to your phone and register for an account. And if you get a ticket, simply upload a photo of your ticket into the app and you will be quickly matched with a lawyer in your jurisdiction. Your lawyer will start working your case right away, and in most cases, you'll never have to set foot in a courtroom. Off the Record has a 97% success rate and a 4.9 star rating on Google. And guess what? They even offer a money-back guarantee if they aren't able to reduce the points or keep that ticket fully off your record. Best of all, I've arranged a 10% discount for all of my YouTube viewers, so download the app and register using the referral code FASTLIFE to receive 10% off your first case. All right, we're back. Let's get down to business. Let's start off with this. Some of you have heard of the world-famous Texas 2K race. This year, the event changed venues because the previous venue, which was called the Houston Raceway, was bulldozed, so it's gone. This year, the event had to move to the Texas Motorplex. The Texas 2K events draw the craziest street cars, the best builders, that's true, and seasoned drag racers, and it's a fantastic event. Some of these cars are making more than 2,500 horsepower. That's right, 2,500. Not exaggerating. While the actual race is super popular, it attracts all these top builders and drivers every year, and it's very professionally run and executed. Ironically, there is almost more action on the empty highways at night after the race. That's where some drivers test and tune or stage side bets, and they go out and street race on empty freeways, well, mostly empty, right? However, this year and last year, law enforcement was jacking up. For this year, they brought in 200 extra cops and 4 extra helicopters, and they warned all the jurisdictions within a 100-mile radius to look out for illegal street racers. Last year, by the end of the event, there were 200 arrests outside of the venue, and most of these people charged with a litany of charges, and there were 50 crashes, mostly because people were running from the cops. None of this happened inside the event. It's the people who go to see the event, and then after the event is over, they hop on the highways and they place side bets, talk a lot of trash, and then they do some runs. It's not legal and it's not safe, so they're trying to cut it down. So if you want to see that stuff, you can go to 1320 video on YouTube. They have the best coverage on and off the track, so check it out. Closer to home, it's the end of the line for the R35 GT-R. The 2025 is their swan song. Why is this car going away? Well, reasons vary. In some countries, the GT-R can no longer meet emissions requirements, but one country banned the R35 GT-R for another reason. What was the reason? You're gonna laugh. It was due to drive-by noise regulation. Let me guess which country cried about noise. I'm looking at you, England.
Come on, England!
Apparently, the whole of England and the rest of the island chain is run by senior citizens who are a bunch of whiny little girls. And you can tell them I said that. But if I'm being honest, it's the same way in my country. It's too bad, right? But the R35 GT-R is one of the quietest cars of this type. The exhaust blows through the turbos, that makes it quieter. Then it goes through 4 catalytic converters, which makes it more quiet, and multiple mufflers. Here's what we can expect from the last hurrah of the R35. First, there will be 8 trim levels. There's the Pure Edition, the Black Edition, the Premium Edition, the Premium Edition T-Spec. There's a straight up Pickup Track Edition, a Track Edition T-Spec, the Nismo, and the Nismo Special Edition, which will still make 600 horsepower and about 481 pound-feet of torque. So not a lot of changes. However, the Pure Edition will start at a very affordable semi, I guess, $97,000 and change. That's cheaper than any decent R34 GT-R right now. Outside of the most hardcore in Nismo, the premium trims will adopt some motorsport technology, whatever that means. We'll have to find that out. The engine is the same and makes the same amount of horsepower, which is 565 horsepower. It's been like that for many years. But for the lower trims, and even in Nismo, they're saying it, the turbos will spool faster. We'll see what that looks like. There will also be some new colors and freshening of the front bumper and some style tweaks at the back. Just minor things as they normally do. They also developed a blue interior. I looked at it, I just didn't like it. It looked like the 1974 Cadillac Brougham. That's what it brings to my mind. But I think Nissan has always missed it with the GT-R. It was not what I wanted. If Nissan wanted to fix the GT-R interiors, it would be really easy. First, think Alcantara. Maybe not on the steering wheel and maybe not on the shift lever, but if you put suede Alcantara on top of the dash, the door panels and all that kind of thing, it would bring it up more upmarket. The 2025 GT-R debuts in Japan in June. Go for the premium edition and you can now order it with a Blue Heaven interior. Well, that's what I was just talking about a minute ago. This trim level for the venerable supercar cost the equivalent about $105,000, which is about what I paid for mine 10 years ago. But there's a cheaper Pure Edition at $97,000. The most expensive of the bunch is going to be the Nismo Special Edition, which is going to run about $207,000. About the same what they're doing now. While I'm on the topic of prices, I'd like to answer this fan's question. Craig, now that the R34 GT-Rs are legal in the United States, will the prices go down? Nope. Not a freaking chance in hell. For those who don't know, the R34 version of the Nissan Skyline GT-R started turning 25 years old starting in January 2024. And here we are. It's now March. In total, only 11,578 GT-Rs were made through the whole run, which ran from January 1999 to, I want to say, August 2002. And so, with only 11,570 cars, this is a pretty small production run to satisfy the global demand. Besides Americans, who likes R34 GT-Rs? Well, the Australians, those guys gobble these cars up, just as the New Zealanders do. Then there's the Europeans, and to some extent the British, and of course, let us not forget the Japanese, and they really love the cars. And of course, we cannot forget our discerning car friends who grab these cars up too. But now there are fewer than that number of GT-Rs because after 25 years, some of those cars were crashed, some were lost in fires, true story. Some were washed away in tsunamis, true story. Others were crushed in earthquakes, another true story. Some were stolen and stripped. Still others were stripped and turned into dedicated race cars. But others will not be available for sale because they're in somebody's private collection and they don't want to sell it at any price. So some estimates speculate that there were actually only about 9,000 R34 GT-Rs that might go up for grabs at some point in time, but we'll have to see. So of course, when you have shrinking inventory and higher demand, prices go up. It's basic economics. Here's what you can expect to pay for an R34 GT-R today. As low as $115,000 and up to $400,000 for certain trims. I'm talking about cars like an M-Spec NER or a Midnight Purple 3. Even higher than that, if you get up to a Z-Tune, you're talking about $2 million. And Nismos, that's a whole nother topic really. So it depends on what you want. Do you want a base model? Do you want a V-Spec? Do you want a V-Spec 2? Do you want an M-Spec NER? Do you want a Nismo? What do you want? Okay. Yesterday, I went on Top Rank's website. If you want a Midnight Purple 2 with 82,000 kilometers on the clock, there's one on their website for $240,000 US dollars. Ouch. However, if you don't mind a GT-R with 213,000 kilometers on the clock, you can grab this 2000 R34 GT-R V-Spec. Not a bad deal. Maybe you're refreshing the motor, but that is a pretty good deal. What do you think? So go to importervehicle.com or Top Rank. You can look at their inventory and tell them I send them. There's no point talking about, is it worth it? It's a whole nother discussion, and I can say it very easily. Only you can answer that. Is it worth a house payment? Financing these cars, it'd be cheaper in the short run, but on the long run, it's not going to be cheaper. I did the math. You can get them as cheap as about $1,200 for a car that I spec'd out, but you'd be paying that for 10 or 12 years at 9.5% interest. Not really, the best thing to do, but if that's your dream car and you really want to sacrifice like that, that's the way to do it now. Because if you keep waiting, these cars are going to be sold. And in a couple of years, all you're going to get left is roaches. It's these cars that are in bad shape, rusted, they need a lot of work, they're tired, and there's going to be a lot of refurbishing, so you have the payment and then on the repairs and all that kind of stuff. So, but if that's your dream car, I'm not going to discourage you from doing it because I did it myself. But of course, I only paid $78,000 back in 2001. It was a different time, so you can't compare that. But remember, I'm just going to say this one more time to drill it in your head. As time passes, more cars will be lost to accidents, theft, or gobbled up by speculators, driving prices up further. The prices are not going to go down. However, if you want one, you can get one. Call O'Brien over at Top Rank and see what he can do with a long-term payment plan with the bank. That's my take. So if you're really serious about buying one of those cars, give those guys a call. If somebody's going to ask me, is it worth it? It was for me at my price, but at $165,000 for the car that I wanted, right now, probably not. I've had my fun with that car, and I'm still in love with my R35, so here we are. All right, that's going to be it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.